Hi guys, welcome back to the 12 days of foundation day number 5. Today we are reviewing something that isn't exactly new, but I have been testing it out and I was always quite curious about it because I loved the BAREMINERALS foundation that came out 2 years ago. I think that was maybe my best foundation of the year at the time. So today I'm going to be reviewing the BAREMINERALS Complexion Rescue Tinted Hydrating Gel Cream. I love a gel cream when it comes to an actual moisturizer. Something that has some coverage in there is very, very intriguing. So let's go ahead and get started. Hello? Yes. 12 days of foundation, day number 5, baby.
Well, just make like 6 days of foundation. You have 50% less work.
Because that's not how Christmas things work. You know, like the 12 days of Christmas?
Yeah. Actually, what?
Partridge in a pear tree.
Partridge?
Partridge.
What's partridge?
The bird. And a partridge in a pear tree. You know that song?
Ah, I thought you were talking about Operation Pear Tree.
Was it Operation Pear Tree?
Yeah.
Ugh, D.I. Denton. Operation Pear Tree. What's that guy's name? Hastings. So this product, depending on where you pick it up, will list the SPF or not list the SPF, but either way it is actually in here. I've talked about this many times now, but Canada has different rules. So on the Sephora Canada website, it doesn't list it as having SPF, but I purchased this from the Sephora Canada website and it does say on here broad spectrum SPF 30. The name is a little different in the United States, but the ingredients are exactly the same. So you're getting the same product, it's just rules. But something to keep in mind, because I think it's a little bit odd that a lot of the time, I don't know, like I think it's weird that a product, like if you have sensitivities to SPF, if you shop on Sephora Canada, you'll have no idea unless you deep dig into it that there is SPF in it and the product itself actually says it. Something like the NARS Tinted Moisturizer has the SPF in it like the United States, but doesn't say it anywhere on the product. So I don't know, I think it's like a little bit confusing, but either way, retails for $32 American, $39 Canadian, so on the lower-ish side when it comes to Sephora products. You're getting 1.18 fluid ounces in here, so a smidge above the average size. Comes in a tube with like a little squeezy, so it's pretty simple packaging, but I like that. And then there are 16 different shades, so not a gigantic range, but because it is a lighter coverage product, you're going to be able to fit more skin tones in one shade. So it does claim to be light coverage with a natural finish of cream texture, and of course you're getting that SPF 30 in there. I'm wearing the shade Spice 08, so I'm going to prime half of my face and we will get into application. I'm going to go ahead and use my fingers for application. That's what it recommends on the back of the bottle, and I kind of feel like doing that today. The texture is interesting. I feel like when I got this, they call it a gel cream on the packaging, but when you squeeze it out, it almost looks a little bit moussey, which is not my preference at all. I hate moussey foundations. This also, they say that it is what, for warm skin with golden undertones, which is this shade 08. I honestly think it looks quite neutral on my skin. Like, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but I feel like it kind of dulls my, like it has like more peachiness and kind of neutralness than it does golden. I feel like this half of my face looks more like yellowy by comparison after I put this on. I don't know, it's interesting. But that being said, it doesn't feel moussey when you put it on your skin. Like, it doesn't have that heavy feeling, but it also doesn't feel as gel like, I don't know, I feel like it's a really interesting texture. I have nothing like this in terms of texture. I would like it to be more gelish, but when it goes on the skin, it does kind of, I don't know. I'm not doing a good job explaining here, which is like literally my job, but just very different. But it does go on really nicely with fingers. I don't use my fingers with much just because it's messier and I have no problem with a sponge or a brush, but yeah, I think you can see like how light coverage it is. Definitely a lot of sheen to my skin. It almost looks like I do have an SPF on my face. So I'm gonna put on just a little bit more. I don't want to put on too much because it does claim to be light coverage, so If you want to build up coverage, you can spot conceal after you put it on. You can set it with a powder foundation. I'm just going to kind of pat it into my skin. But yeah, I haven't actually reached for that Bare Minerals foundation that I used to love so much in a long time. I want to revisit that, just see if I still feel as enthusiastic about it, because I wore that non-stop for like the entire years when I had a lot of acne too, but it had this really good finish where it like wasn't too matte, but it had good coverage and it lasted all day. Oh, it was great. And I've also reviewed their powder foundation as well, so I'll link to those both if you're curious. So as you can see, this is a super light coverage product. It more or less just kind of evened out my skin tone, kind of made my face and body. I think the color match looks good now that I have it all on my face. I don't know, I think it might oxidize a smidge, because when I put it on, I think you could see like it looked quite beige and then it kind of blended into my skin nicely. There is quite a sheen, definitely gonna set this, of course. But one thing I noticed about this, because it is almost like this moussey texture, it does that thing that I don't love that mousses do, which is like I had to get kind of up close in the mirror and pat out a few areas that I felt like it was almost sitting on my skin like looking dry, even though it's not set. Like it just does that thing that I don't like that mousses do, but it does look overall very natural, because like mousse foundations to me never look natural. They always sit very heavy on the skin. Not the case with this, but and it also just might have been my finger application. It was not great, and maybe if you use I feel like this wouldn't be good with a brush. I feel like it could work with a sponge, but you would end up maybe absorbing a lot of product or losing, you know, what little coverage there is. So I'm gonna go ahead and take some flash photos. I haven't, like I've worn this quite a few times, but I haven't tried it with flash photo. I feel like it's not gonna go well, but I'm gonna go do that. Nope, said that, and I'm gonna put on my makeup and I will be right back. Okay, so I have the rest of my makeup on now, and I definitely like the way that it looks more with the rest of my makeup on, because there's some tinted moisturizers that I've reviewed in the past and I've said that they look good just on their own with like no other makeup. If you just want to like really quick way to even out your skin tone or whatever it may be, I don't feel that way about this. It may be that the shade is not the perfect match for me, but just on its own I don't love the way that it looks on my face. So after I put on like a smidge of concealer, a little powder, my bronzer and stuff, I think everything looks, thought my phone was ringing. I think everything looks really good. It lost a lot of its shininess. It doesn't look like I have like just an SPF on my face anymore. And I think it looks really quite natural, but also more on the matte side. I did powder, but I'm gonna be using the same powders throughout this entire series just to kind of keep things more consistent. But I feel like with a powder, it definitely did kind of matte things down, because if something is super radiant, even if you powder it, it still can kind of push through. But this claims to be more of a natural finish, and I think it is definitely, once you've powdered it and whatnot, more on the matte side. So I took some photos. I thought it looked good here in my lighting, but it did have that kind of sheen to it. And then in flash photos, I thought it performed pretty well. Oh, hi, Ambos. Want to say hello? Who is my grumpy cat? Look at the camera. Hasn't really figured out her camera skills like Rue has. Rue can find her camera and she like opens her eyes. Emily's like, you know, don't tell me what to do. Look at these freaking toes. Look at these toes. You need a bath today. You can sit on my lap. Become an evil genius. Love a good butt smack. Anyways, totally lost my train of thought. Oh, for flash photos, I thought it looked good, especially considering there's an SPF in there. And I think the reason you didn't get any major flashback, because again, the shade is not great, which can cause more flashback. I think because it is such a light coverage product, and that was the only thing I had on my face, my skin is still really showing through quite a bit. So you're not going to get that intense flash of something like if it was a much more full coverage product. So I'm going to go ahead and continue wearing this. I'm probably going to change my hair. I can't decide. I wasn't going to mention the fact that I have my hair styled like this. I can't decide how I feel about it. Like, I think it's cute, but at the same time I'm like, do I look like a 6-year-old? I don't know. Don't tell me if you don't like it. I don't want to know. I'm undecided how I feel about it, but okay, bye. But anyways, I will check back with you in some natural light.
Can I pass here?
Can you pass?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. We can see you.
Huh?
We can see you.
Okay, that's okay.
Coming to you with my midday check-in, and I think things look really good. Although I didn't love like the texture of it and kind of the feeling on application, I think things do look really natural and it feels really comfortable and it just looks really good. I don't think it has like the same really beautiful look that I love from the NARS Tinted Moisturizer, which I know I'm always comparing, but like that is my favorite. But I do think it looks really gorgeous, and yeah, I really like it. I think if the shade match had been a little bit better on initial application, I would have been happier with it. And again, I don't love that mousse texture, so it does feel a little bit heavier than I feel like other tinted moisturizers, and you're not getting a ton of coverage. So yeah, but otherwise, I think it looks pretty good. So I just got back from lunch. Actually, I went to lunch with Christy from Canadian True Crime. I've talked about her many times, but if you like true crime podcasts, definitely check her out. She is fabulous. But anyways, I will go ahead and check back with you at the end of the evening. I can't remember if it was today that Emily was in the video, because all the days are blending into one, but I think it was this morning. Anyways, coming to you with my final check-in with my girl, the original beauty queen. Anyways, I like this. I don't think that it's something that I would like run out to repurchase, but I do really like it, and I can kind of see myself recommending it to people, if that makes sense. Because although it's not something that I am like absolutely going gaga over, I feel like it's got nice, easy coverage. It's easy to apply with your fingers. And for the most part, people who come to me with looking for recommendations aren't looking for something full coverage. They're not looking for something, they may not like kind of be really into makeup, if that makes sense. They're just kind of looking for an easy product. And I feel like this is a pretty easy product. I will say I did lose like a lot of coverage. I did a lot of like lying around today. I have, if you remember from some like earlier vlogs, I have an old knee injury that came back in September and is now back again. And I'm just feeling a little bit down because, you know, I've been trying to exercise more, or at least get out and walk. And right now I basically, not that I can't walk, but I really need to rest. So I'm trying not to walk much at all. Like when I went out to lunch today, I Ubered, which I never would because it's not that far away. But I'm like limping basically while I'm walking, and I'm in quite a bit of pain sitting, standing, etc. Anyways, so it's kind of lying around today a little bit more than normal, and I definitely lost some coverage. That being said, this product is a light coverage product. It's supposed to be a natural finish. It doesn't say like it lasts for a very long time. So I think it's a good tinted moisturizer product that has an SPF of 30 in there, which is a nice SPF. I know a lot of people, and I still do wear my own SPF, even if a product claims to have it, but I don't mind it being in there. I'm not sensitive to that or anything. And I think it is, like I said, a nice, easy product. My biggest qualm with it is the actual texture. Like it says that it's a gel cream, and that kind of moussey texture that it has leads it to feel heavier than necessary, especially for a product that has light coverage. That being said, it's not a super heavy product, like if I compared it to something that's actually moussey or actually full coverage, but for what it is, it feels like a little bit more than it should. So yeah, so I like this. I still like some other tinted moisturizer products that I've tried more than this, but I will continue to use this. And like I said, it is a good kind of, I wouldn't call it like a beginner product, but if you're looking for something simple, this could be a good option. And if you compare it to some other tinted moisturizers that have more liquidy textures or a lot more luminosity, this could potentially be better for oily skin. I would love to know your opinion on this. I remember a lot of people talking about this when I first picked it up, and I can't remember if people were curious for me to try it, or if they really loved it, or if people were telling me to try it. I know a lot of people brought it up, but I don't remember the context. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. Stay tuned for the next 12 days of foundation tomorrow. At this very moment, I can't remember what tomorrow is. I think it's going to be day number 6. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!